Hello and welcome to Blue Garden Cottage. It's lovely to have you along with me again. Thank you for being so supportive, and especially to new subscribers. It's lovely to have you along as well. I hope you find some value on this channel. If you're new here, this channel is about my husband and my journey to financial self-reliance and frugal make-do lifestyle. I did, as promised, tart up my coat. And this is how I did it. how the coat turned out that I promised I was going to be putting new buttons on and tarting up, where almost all the buttons were gone. It was full of bobbin or pilkin, whatever you want to call it, lint. I turned it from a double-breasted into a single-breasted because it was too small to close the buttons properly, as I showed you. But I don't know if you can see that. I put new metal buttons on because the first ones I bought were plastic. I bought them online and they were plastic, absolute rubbish. So I went to an ex-military store in an antiques place and found some metal buttons. These are brand new ones, and way too shiny for my liking, but I'm sure that over time they'll tarnish and calm down a bit. It's a bit like bleh in your face. But it's all done up, it's tarted up. I took, as you saw in the videos, cheap razor blades and just shaved off the pilkin. So razor blade will do the job. An old, cheap plastic one. Not ideal, but I tell you what, I am so tired. The video's late this week. My excuse being a genuine one. At first 2 days of the week I was helping a relative clear out, and the house was extremely dusty, and within 24 hours of working I started getting hay fever really bad. My allergies started playing up so bad, and I didn't take any antihistamines with me at all. It's England way. I'll try to edit out all the coughing. I have done a COVID test, definitely not COVID, so it is definitely there. Hay fever. My chest was wheezing and rattling a lot more, and as soon as I started taking the prescription antihistamines, that calmed down. I still have a cough and a sore throat and then the funny nose, but the wheezing and the rattling has eased, so it's definitely dust allergies. And I've been taking the tablets every day and the spray in preparation for next week, because come Monday we'll be doing the same thing again, hopefully for the last time. Yes, that's what I've been doing this week, is helping relatives clear out, and I was determined to do that coat as I promised I would for this week. The other video I'm not going to share with you yet. I'll keep it for another day. It's what to do if you forget to put yeast in your bread dough. I'm sure lots of people have got ideas for that, but I'll show you what I did do with that. It was all right. I wasn't going to throw away a whole batch of bread dough because I forgot to put yeast in. How many of you have done that? If you ever make bread, or if you have made bread and have forgotten to put the yeast in, and how did you deal with it? Did you just chuck it out, or did you come up with something else to do with it? Maybe water it down and paste some, use it for a massive batch of glue or something. And it's mid-February, and I need a break. How ridiculous is that? Oh my days. Yeah. Oh, while we're on about clearing out, because that's what actually clearing out just helped me think that when it comes to my own home, I was desperate, and it really inspired me to come and gut and clear out my own home, because I would not want, if we had to move house, to deal with everything. If there's too much clutter, it's just overwhelming. And also that if by any chance I should peg it by any time soon, I do not want my children to be left to clear out my clutter. It's a very daunting, overwhelming project. I've said this before in another video, that I was desperate to simplify my home and my life and my finances, so that should anything happen, then it's easy for my children to be able to cope with and deal with stuff, because they might be struggling if anything did happen negative to hubby and myself, or even if I went before my husband, it would be easy for him to deal with everything as well, with the help of the family. And if he went before me, then it would just be easier to deal with everything that needs to be dealt with. We're in a rented social housing house, and this house was given to us on grounds of his needs. So if anything did happen to him, I would have to move. They would rehouse me into a much smaller accommodation, and already dealing with something traumatic as losing the closest person to you, I would have to be dealing with house moving and all sorts of stuff. So that's a self-reliance subject, and I think I'll cover that in the next self-reliance video, which is the 4th week of the month, if you didn't already know. Schedule in the description box underneath. So I think I'll cover that in the self-reliance video, but it has inspired me. This week has inspired me to get stuck in. So I am on top of work, general everyday home stuff and homesteading stuff, and it's already also almost the growing season. I need to gut and clear this house. I've been wanting to do it and trying to, and I actually started. I took one suitcase in the airing cupboard and sorted out some stuff. I got some stuff to the charity shop and have been trying to pass some stuff on the Facebook local page to start that clearing out process. And I think that's the way I'll be able to handle it, is just to grab one little spot, one little corner, and do that, even if it's just one little spot in a week. Tackle it one little job at a time and make sure I don't clutter it up again. I don't have the time or the energy or the space to do a full room clear out all in one go. Not like I'm doing in the other house. It's just, overwhelming to say the least. So I desperately want a calm, simple life. I don't mean minimalistic. I do not do minimalistic, but I would love to do something that is far more calm, much less clutter, and leave me with more peace. That's what's been the focus this week, and making sure I make do and not chuck out my coat. So it's got many years left in it as well. And as the fabric wears and thins, I will put patches on, but I will also try to Scotch guard it or something like that to make sure it stays tidy and smart. Okay, it's been a very long week, but I have been able to, on top of last week's task of doing that coat, I've been creative in the kitchen out of necessity to stop me going to the shop and spending money, because as soon as we go in for one item, we come out with about 3 or 4, and in the interest of saving money, I'm not doing that. So I'm using what I got in the house and in the store cupboard, and this is what I did. Because my local supermarkets, well, actually all of them, except for one different supermarket, have run out of organic soy milk. And the label on the shelf said they're not getting any until May. So with supply issues interrupted, I am just making do with what I've got. So I had some almonds in the store cupboard, and I've always got oats. Oats is something I've always got. With the leftover pulp, I made some cake cookies. They're like a halfway between cake and cookie. These ones are chocolate ones. Vegan ones. Made with the pulp. Ooh, I better eat that one. Can't leave half of one in the tub now, can I? I also made some wholemeal rye bread today. It's a nice, dense, but springy rye bread loaf. Not doughy. It came out nice. Nice and springy, but not doughy. Good rye flavored bread. So that is a nice filling slice. I think that's it. I'm done. I keep looking away. When I'm talking to you, I keep looking away at whatever it is I'm talking about or doing. Ugh. One day I'll get this filming thing. Right, whatever. No, it is what it is. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. Nothing professional about it. Bye then. I'm going to love you and leave you to have a good weekend. I shall speak to you next week. Energy. Oh my days. Time. Energy. Right then. Have a good week, everyone. Stay well. Stay spit it out. Stay well. Stay healthy. Keep frugal. Make do. And I'll chat with you next week. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.